Hey, what is going on, guys? DK. Back at you with another video here to break down the 3-game NBA main slate on Thursday. Before I get into the video, if you guys are new to the channel, my name's DK. I make daily videos and live stream for NBA and NFL slates on Draftkings. If you guys cannot watch these YouTube videos, I do also upload an Apple Podcast. I have a link in the description below. If you guys are interested in signing up for premium content, and I offer that on patreon.com, esports, NBA, NFL, also link down below. And then finally, I want to thank PrizePicks for sponsoring the show. If you guys are not familiar with what PrizePicks is, it's a site where you're taking over-under on projected fantasy points. So for the upcoming game here with the Spurs, we have Steph Curry for 48 fantasy points. Do you like the under? Do you like the over? They have a bunch of different sports here: NBA, NFL, esports. You can go first half, you can go second half, right? So it's really, really fun, guys. And you're not playing against anyone; you're playing against the house. So if you guys want to try it out, you can use the code DKDFS. DKDFS, all one word. Link down below. You get a 100% match up to $100. So basically, you put $100 in, you get $200 to play with. And finally, before we get into the video, I want to thank you guys again for the continued support. Getting closer and closer to that 8,000 subscriber mark. If you guys do enjoy this content, if you leave a like button on the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit the notification bell so you don't upload videos, go live. That would be greatly, greatly appreciated. Let's aim for 200 likes on this video, guys. But yeah, with that all out of the way, let's jump in the video. So before we talk about players and the prices, let's look back my lineup here from Wednesday. And Wednesday's main slate, well, got a little bit of tilting to do, but also I made a mistake. So let's go over my lineup. So I went pretty contrarian for this one. D Rose, D'Lo, Aaron Gordon, Cam Johnson, Nikola Vucevic, Dragic, Draymond Green, and Wiseman. So really, I wanted to play Kendrick Nunn here. I was really high on him in the YouTube live stream, really high on him in the Patreon live stream. But the issue was I was kind of set on the guys I had in my first 6 spots here. So if I went to Kendrick Nunn instead of D Rose, I was left with like $6,000 remaining. And I just didn't like anyone in that range. I didn't like Aldridge. There was OGN, and there was guys I just didn't really want to play. So I was like, you know what? I'll just go up to D Rose, and then down to Wiseman. I'm willing to take a shot on for GPPs. But obviously that didn't work out, and Kendrick Nunn went for 50. So yeah, probably should have just figured a way to get him in there somehow, and maybe move something. Maybe move Cam Johnson out. But yeah, that's really it. I use Minnesota, Orlando. The Orlando Magic have 81 points against the worst defense in the NBA, and it's not close. Minnesota is the worst defense in the NBA, and it's not close. 81 points, and the game's almost over. All right. That makes a lot of sense. Also, we got double overtime for that Brooklyn game. That was pretty tilting. Got overtime in Detroit, Atlanta. All I used was a contrarian D Rose, who has done absolutely nothing. So yeah, just one of those slates where I knew one of the best value plays was Kendrick Nunn, but I just couldn't find a way to get him in there and feel comfortable. Right? A lot of people asked me, can you use Dragic and Nunn together? I was like, yeah, of course, because that was what I was trying to do. But I couldn't find a way to do it, and that ended up being my downfall. So, yeah, that's how it goes, guys. Again, sometimes I try to get a little bit too contrarian, but I'm a GPP player, so I'm willing to take risks. Sometimes they don't work out like it did tonight, but that's how it goes. So that's it for my look back. I don't think we have any of the Vegas odds out here for Bovada yet. We do. We have one Pelicans Jazz. Again, they're playing 217.5 or under. The Jazz are 6.5 point favorites. So honestly, kind of an ugly slate here. Only 3 games. We have 3 games tomorrow, but 13 on Friday. That's also pretty annoying. But all right, Lakers and Bucks. This one's going to be really fun to watch. Anthony Davis and LeBron James at 9-4 and 9-2 respectively. Now they're at playable prices, right? Around the 10K mark, they were just a little too expensive for their roles. But we did also see 38 minutes from LeBron that last game. We hadn't really seen that much in competitive games. He was hovering around the 34 33, 34-minute mark. Now, I also want to mention on the Milwaukee side, in that close game against Brooklyn, Giannis played 40 minutes. So I think, these coaches are willing to extend their stars a bit in like the big games and the close games. This one's obviously a huge game, Lakers versus Bucks. So I could see, AD, LeBron, maybe push for the high 30s minutes, like kind of the minutes they played last year. And maybe we got close to 40 for Giannis. So this is the game I think you're going to want the stars in. So yeah, Anthony Davis, LeBron James, I think both are firmly in play. And I realistically, if you wanted to just do full game stack, I think you could do it. I think you could go like LeBron James and Anthony Davis plus Giannis, and then just value from there. LeBron is a guy that, sure, only went for 33 last game against Golden State. I'm not super worried about it. At 9.2K, I think he's a safe play with some upside. So I do like LeBron James a good amount. And Anthony Davis, too, at 9.4. Again, they have LeBron as questionable. I fully expect him to play. AD played 37 minutes the last game. So, I mean, the matchup for him, I'm not scared of like BROOK LOPEZ defense. So both AD and LeBron, I actually do like a good amount on this slate. The secondary plays, Dennis Schroeder's at 6'3", I think is a solid play, right? We'll probably get 30 to 35 minutes from him. He's a decently aggressive player. We've seen some upside from him. But, if we just look at like the last, 5-6 games, he's been pretty consistent. 32, 33, 23, 29, 32, and 38. So, yeah, I think Schroeder's just an okay play in the mid-range. I think definitely this is going to be more of these stars and scrubs build. You could go a little bit balanced to get constrained. There are some plays I'll mention if you want to go balanced. Montrezl Harrell's one of those guys that in this range I think looks okay. Normally a guy I really look to when like Anthony Davis is out, but on this slate I think he's the least viable. He should get somewhere around 25 minutes or so, I would say. He's been a pretty decent point per minute guy, even playing alongside LeBron and AD. So I think Harrell is a guy that is viable. And not my favorite play, but viable. Kuzma, 5K, again, been a little up and down, kind of reliant on the scoring. Now, has been rebounding the ball really well. I think that's more like an outlier, right? 11 rebounds, 13 rebounds in 22 minutes, 10 rebounds in 25 minutes. I don't think that continues. So that's kind of why he's been putting up these decent fantasy point games. I'm a little bit hesitant. Again, I don't think he's going to continue to average like basically half a rebound a minute. So, right, that does worry me a little bit. I don't think that trend continues. KCP's at 3.7. Well, we saw the floor from KCP, right? He didn't hit a shot, so he had 10 fancy points. I mean, he's going to play probably somewhere around 20 to 25 minutes and very reliant on scoring. So there's not a ton of value on the slate. Yes, he's in play. Marc Gasol's at 3.6. We probably get somewhere around 15 to 20 minutes for him. Again, like viable. Don't really love it. THT was basically out of the rotation last game. Caruso's the last guy I'll mention at 3.2. He'll play about 20 minutes. I would I probably prefer Caruso to like Gasol or even KCP for cheaper. Like Caruso's basically at mid price and should play about 20 minutes. And they like playing this guy, so like I think Caruso's actually like an okay punt on the slate if you need something super, super cheap. But let's move on to the Bucks. The Bucks and Giannis played 40 minutes. 40 minutes that last game. So I think we're going to get, like, as long as he stays out of foul trouble, we should get 35 plus minutes from Giannis in a close game. And with that being said, the price didn't move. I like him a lot here. I think he's one of the best spend ups in the slate. Again, going to be popular, but I really do like Giannis. Now, if you're going a little bit more balanced, I think Chris Middleton, I mean, he's been having a really good year, guys. Like, just look at the box scores, like, last 6 or 7 games. 41, 51, 46, 40, 27, the one downer, and then 45, 43. Like, he's continuing to put up big scores. He's also playing some big minutes, right? Last year, Middleton, Bledsoe, Giannis, these guys all hovered around, like, the 30 to 32 minute mark. It really hurt their upside. Well, now we're getting, like, 36, like, 35 plus for these stars. So it just is a boost. Middleton's a guy that, you know, if you're going a little bit more balanced build or you just need someone kind of in this range, I like a lot. I think this game, I think is where I like getting the stars the best. Again, I don't think it's a super contrarian take. Drew Holiday's at 6'6", also a pretty solid play in the mid-range. Like, I like all three of the stars here from Milwaukee. 37, 35, 30. Like, these guys are getting huge minutes. The starters are getting way more minutes this year than they were last year. So I have interest in all three of the Milwaukee guys. Again, I definitely think this is the game that has, the most upside in the game that I think I want my stars in. BROOK LOPEZ at 5.1K. Minutes have been going way up for him. 30, 34, 34. Also been rebounding the ball a little bit better recently. 5.1K, viable play. He's a good 3-point shooter. He can get hot. I think he's solid. Pat Connaughton for value at 3-4, actually has been somewhat consistent. 20, 17, 19, and 20 fantasy points. He's getting about 15 to 20 minutes. I think he's, at this price, okay. Bobby Portis at 4-3, so the minutes are going down on him, which is not great. 17, then only 14 that last game. Now, he's still a decent point per minute guy, so you can take a shot here, but again, not a good sign that the minutes are trending down. I'll talk about, Bryn Forbes at 3-1, probably play some around 15 minutes. I guess you can throw him in your player pool. TJ Augustine probably plays about 20 minutes, does have a really low floor though. So we got to consider these guys if we're going to get those stars in, right? If we're going to try to get LeBron or AD or Giannis, we got to consider these really, really bottom of the barrel guys. Let's move on to New York and Golden State. So Julius Randle, if I was going to play a star not in the Lakers-Milwaukee game, I think it would be Julius Randle at 8.8K. Really like the spot for him here against Golden State. Should play about 40 minutes. Has not been shooting the ball well. Shot the ball 5 of 19 last game. Still put up 46 fantasy points. The game against Boston was a blowout. Only played 31 minutes, 48 fantasy points. So Randle's been pretty consistent. Yes, the one time I played him, that happened. Other than that, though, he gets 40 minutes whenever I don't play him. But yeah, I'm definitely considering Randle here because minutes, again, Alec Burks being back doesn't really affect Randle. Randle should still get about 40 minutes. So I think Randle's a really safe play there with some upside. Now, again, I did mention Alec Burks is probable, and he was a high usage guy off the bench. So it just kind of hurts all those other value guards. Even RJ Barrett at 6'9", don't love it. I think, again, decent play in the mid-range, has gone for over 40 last couple games, but a little bit worried about him with Burks being back. I think he might lose a few minutes. Mitchell Robinson, secondary player there at 6K. Alfred Payton with the emergence of Quickly. I don't want to do it. Reggie Bullock, again, Burks back. That's a hit to him. I'll probably pass. Quickly is the guy that intrigues me here for one. Now, I have no idea how many minutes he's going to play, but he's been really good, and he's been aggressive when he's out there. Last 4 games, 22 minutes, 29 fantasy points, 28 minutes, 40 fantasy points, 21 minutes, 33 fantasy points, 15 minutes, 15 fantasy points. So it's does he lose some minutes with Alec Burks back? He might. So there's some risk. But on the minutes he's been out there recently, he's been really good. So I'm intrigued by him for GPPs because, again, of how aggressive he's been. Again, Austin Rivers is doubtful. So maybe that's, slight boost to a guy that quickly maybe plays a couple extra minutes. And then Knox barely played last game. Nerlens Noel 3-6. Just, you can take a dart throw on him, right? Probably plays about 15 minutes. In a normal game, if Mitchell Robinson gets in foul trouble, he could play a little bit more. But yeah, that's really it for New York. Let's move on to Golden State. So Steph Curry, the top of 9-6, firmly in play for GPPs. I will mention this Knicks defense has been good. This is not a good matchup here. The Knicks play slow, and they've been solid defensively. So in my opinion, Steph is more of a contrarian spend up. Again, always in play for GPPs, but I think I'd rather get to the Lakers stars or Giannis. Andrew Wiggins at 6'2". He's actually been okay. I don't play this guy, but he's been getting 30 to 35 minutes. He's been somewhat consistent. I think he's a fine option if you want to go there. Kelly Oubre at 5. So I'm curious to see how many minutes he plays tonight. Game about to start now. Because he was playing, somewhere around 25 to 30 minutes. That last game he played 37. So if we're going to continue to get high 30s minutes from Kelly Oubre, then he's a lot more viable. I'm always a fan of Draymond. I played him tonight, and just because I like what he does. He stuffs the stat sheet, and when he has a decent scoring game, he can go for 30 plus easily. So yeah, Draymond's always a safe play in my opinion. Should get about 30 minutes. The value, probably not going to Pascal. I think, maybe you could take a shot on a guy like James Wiseman. Good matchup here if he can stay out of foul trouble. Again, curious also to see how many minutes he plays tonight, because before that game where he got in foul trouble, he played 27 to 26 minutes. So if he plays mid-20s minutes again, I would have a little more confidence targeting him, because I think that would be the plan going forward, would be about 25 minutes a night. The value guys like Lee, there's too many of them. If I had to pick someone, I guess it would be Damian Lee, but don't love that really. All right, let's move on to the Pelicans and the Jazz. So Pelicans are a team I don't have a ton of interest in. They got blown out last game against the Jazz. Ingram, just a contrarian, played 8-5 against in this matchup. Zion Williamson, do prefer him to Ingram. He's been pretty consistent, 40 plus the last 3 games. Zion would be the guy for me if I had to pick a Pelicans star. Steven Adams is always like an okay play, safer play. Probably gets about 30 minutes. Again, fine option. Lonzo was limited last game, only played 23 minutes. If they limit him again, don't have a ton of interest. Again, Lonzo and Bledsoe are just up and down. You can take a shot on one of those guys in GPPs, but the emergence of NAW I think will be a pretty consistent part of this rotation. He played 31 minutes that last game. Even if Lonzo's not limited, I think we probably get at least 20 minutes from NAW. So I think you could realistically take a shot on him off the bench, and he's a high usage guy. JJ Redick lost minutes. I don't think we can go there. Josh Hart at 4 or 5. Yeah, he's in play. Don't love it though. Last guy I mentioned here is Jackson Hayes. Should play, probably about 15 minutes or so, maybe a little less. He only had 2 fancy points in 15 minutes, but before that, 19, 14, and 18. So if you need someone super, super cheap as a dart throw in GPPs, you can do it. Obviously, you're not going to feel great about it. And then finally, the Jazz. I just don't like seeing this team on the slate. But yeah, Donovan Mitchell, he went for 42 last game. Again, he's the guy that has the most upside for the Jazz. He's below 8K. I think he's a pretty solid play if you're going to want to go a little bit more balanced. Rudy Gobert at 7-2 also seems a little bit underpriced. Gobert and Mitchell do seem a little bit underpriced. Like the spot for them. So I do like both Mitchell and Gobert on this slate. And I definitely think you could build a little bit more contrarian or a balanced build. Maybe you go one or two of the guys from the Jazz with Middleton, and then maybe one spend up, right? I think that would be an interesting build. Mike Conley's at 6'5". I think he's fine. That's normally what I say about Mike Conley. We'll play about 30 minutes. Can get you some assists. He had 10 assists last game. Has a decently high floor because of that. Slash a little bit upside here and there. So it's hard for me to break down the Jazz because they're just a balanced team. Now, Jordan Clarkson, actually interesting. He still played 29 minutes last night. Last night. So I thought Ingles being back, he would go back down to that 20-minute mark. But Clarkson still played about 30 minutes. So if he's going to continue to play about 30 minutes a night, then he's viable GPP play. And he's been getting it going. He's been doing a better job getting some rebounds, actually getting some assists. So intrigues me for GPPs. Bojan's always viable for GPPs. Again, very reliant on the scoring. So somewhat low floor, but I think he's okay. Royce O'Neal, a little bit too expensive still. Joe Ingles at 4-3. Probably gets around 20 minutes. I think is okay value play. And then, Niang with Ingles back. Played a little bit more because of the garbage time, but not going to play enough for me to consider him. Favors, kind of the same thing with Jackson Hayes, right? I would rather have Favors because I have more confidence in him. But the backup, he'll play probably about 15 minutes or so. So, yeah, he's for sure in play at 3.4K. There's not a ton of standout value on the slate. So, that's really it for the team-by-team breakdown, guys. Again, small slate, only 3 games. So, what I recommend on these small slates is take it light. Because these slates, there's a little bit more variance involved. I think the game that has the most upside is that Lakers-Milwaukee game. Stars are pretty reasonably priced, so that's the game that I think looks the most appealing. But don't completely rule out the other games, right? There's some appealing plays, on the Utah side, right? I think Mitchell, Gobert a little bit underpriced. I like Julius Randle in that Knicks game. You can always look to Steph as a contrarian GPP play. But yeah, that's going to do it for the video today, guys. So if you have been enjoying the content so far, I would really appreciate it if you hit the like button on the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit the notification bell so you know when to upload videos, you know when to go live. As always, I will be doing a live stream, shorter one for tomorrow since it's only 3 games, but I will be live on YouTube to go over everything, answer all you guys' questions. So thanks again. Have a good night, guys, and I'll see you all tomorrow in the live stream.